Hey there, VC. It's your buddy Jeff here again. I haven't been around much the last week. I kind of hit the video making thing pretty hard last week. That's just kind of the way my channel goes. You'll see a lot of me and then you'll see none of me. But I had my long weekend last weekend, and I actually consciously forced myself to step away from the VC for like 4 or 5 days just to spend some time, you know, reconnecting with my wife. We had a wonderful weekend together, and also to play a lot of these records that I've been itching to get to for a while, since I got them. You know, it's like over the last month it felt like I'd really gotten away from the music, which is what the VC is really all about. So I just I didn't even comment on videos. I hardly watched any videos. I just started watching them again last night, and I commented on a few, but I'm still way behind. I'll be watching and commenting on a bunch over the next several days. Don't worry. And I just wanted to refocus my attention on the music itself, which is really the most important thing. So this is a Spin Zone video, and it's probably going to be a long one, so strap in. I've got, I think, at least a dozen albums here, if not a few more, so I'm going to try to go through them as quickly as I can do it. So yeah, it's good every now and then to just, you know, step away from the drama and you can get wrapped up into the VC very easily, I notice. And sometimes it's good to just step back, chill out for a while, and start playing a lot of the records that you don't always have a chance to play. So that's pretty much what I did. Anyway, if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, I think I've posted all of these albums on there at one time or another. So this is pretty much the order in which I listen to them. So it does appear to be kind of random, but that's just the way it's been. And like I said, there have been many, many albums that I've been itching to get to, and I was able to do that for some of them this past weekend. So without further ado, let's start. This is an album by a jazz trumpeter named Louise Gaska, and this is called For Those Who Chant. Here's the back, and I have this, and I'm actually not quite sure where to file this. Here's the gatefold. I'll just show you the gatefold quickly. Because his backing band is the Santana Band. Carlos and everybody. The entire Santana Band is his backing band. So, and this came out, I think, in 1971, I believe. Yes. So, to my mind, for all intents and purposes, this is a Santana album. It just has trumpet in there, you know. It doesn't have... It has not as much in the way of singing, but when you hear this, you can instantly tell that it's Santana playing behind him. So this was a Back of the Crate album. I think I saw David Michael show this way back, and that was when I was trying to track down a lot of the Santana albums, you know, primarily from the 70s. So I came across it on eBay, and it was for a cheap price, so I just snatched it, and I finally played it. And it's a good album, but like I said, I'm not sure if I should put this in my jazz file or if I should just file this with the other Santana albums. But if you're interested in that first, the first phase of the Santana band, roughly about the time they put out their first 3 albums, and you wanted something more, check this album out, For Those Who Chant by Louise Gasca. It's pretty good. And I already need a drink of water because my mouth is dry. I hope my voice is sounding better. It feels like it's returned for the most part. I still have a lump in my throat, but I think I'm chalking that up more to allergies than anything else because I know I'm well past my cold or flu or whatever it was that I had. Hard to Handle by Henning Stark. This is one of the albums that my friend Jacob from Denmark, Moenrock, sent to me. And this is actually, it's not as bluesy as, well, I haven't played anything else. I just talked to him today on Facebook. I've been meaning to get to more of the stuff that he sent, but there's so many records fighting for playtime that I just have to make time. But this was actually, it was a fun album to listen to. It's not as bluesy, it's a little more country. Actually, it's a little more like honky-tonk even. It reminded me of, like, you know how they had the outlaw country guys in the late 70s? It was country music, but it had, it was a little more mainstream. It had some strains of heavier guitar in it. That's kind of what this album is. It's got a very nice voice. Everything was well played. I think he covers, what did he cover on this one? Who'll Stop the Rain, which was an interesting choice of cover. But overall, I liked it. It was a pleasant listen, so thank you, Jacob. This was a good one. And I will get to the other stuff that you sent me very soon. Have no fear. I played this Double Gold album by WCFL. I showed this on my estate sale finds, and I wasn't sure if it was going to be a good record, sounding record or not. After cleaning it, it's noisy, but it's not so noisy that it distracts from enjoying the music. So, I mean, here's the, there's a lot of glare, but it's just a set list of like 60s AM radio hits. I mean, there's Crystal Blue Persuasion on here. Actually, there's actually a couple songs on here that I haven't heard before, like Traces. It's by the Classics 4. They're the ones that did the song Spooky. And you can hear that same riff at the very beginning of the song, too. But, being the nerd that I am, I looked on YouTube for air checks of CFL. I was listening to them because, like I said, I'm a nerd. And I came across a commercial for this album. So I'm placing the time this was released probably around the holidays of 1970. Because I heard a commercial for this album. So it's just an interesting oddity in my collection. I like it. I like stuff like that. So it's worth having. And then this got a lot of playtime on my turntable. The Bohemian Rhapsody soundtrack. Watched this movie with the wife and kids. Loved it. I thought Rami Malek did an excellent job as Freddie Mercury. I thought he looked more like Freddie when he had the mustache than he did without. But he did a fantastic job. It's a very, very fun movie to watch. And the only Queen I have in my collection is A Night at the Opera and News of the World. So I figured I could use a little more Queen in my collection, so I just bought this. And here's the set list. It's a mix of live tracks and studio tracks, but I think they were from their remaster series, which came out in 2015, I think. Don't quote me. But here's the gatefold. Really great stuff. You know, for anybody who loves Queen, this is worth having. And for no other reason than the Live Aid set, which makes up side 4, almost all of side 4, I think is the first time it's ever been released on record. So they did a great set at Live Aid, obviously, and this is well worth having. So the Bohemian Rhapsody soundtrack, really great stuff, and the kids love it. You know, they're calling the movie Bo Rap. You know, oh, we want to watch Bo Rap. I think they watched it like 2 or 3 times since, and they've requested Queen a lot. So I'm more than happy to oblige with turntable time. Anything to promote quality music in their lives, I'm all for. So Queen definitely is quality music. This is my Vinyl Me Please record for March. I swapped it. I didn't want the De La Soul. Sorry for those De La Soul fans out there, but this actually came out the previous month, but I already had Vide and Fleece as my choice. So I swapped for this for March. Left My Blues in San Francisco by Buddy Guy. And just as a quick aside, it seems like the Vinyl Me Please records, once I take them out of the jacket, it seems like it's very difficult to get them back in without like almost splitting the top seam. It just seems like it's a very tight fit. So even though I don't normally store my records with them outside the sleeve like this, I find that for the Vinyl Me Please records, I'm kind of forced to, because they don't really go back in. And these sleeves are pretty thick cardboard, but I don't know. As to the record itself, this is a wonderful, wonderful album. It's Buddy Guy from the 60s, so, you know, it was a slam dunk for me, without a doubt. And highly recommended. You know, if you know me and you've watched my videos at all, you'll know that I'm a huge Buddy Guy fan, so I wasn't going to let this record go by without getting it. And, of course, my wife likes the blues too, so it's always enjoyable to play this stuff with her because she likes it too. So, Left My Blues in San Francisco by Buddy Guy. This is definitely a winner for me. Then, I've been wanting to get more into Bob Dylan. I've been wanting to get more of his records on vinyl. I have some, you know, I've got more of his like late 60s, 70s albums, even a few of his 80s albums. But I found a very nice reissue copy of the Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, and I couldn't resist. It's mono reissue from, I want to say 2000. Oh, there's actually the sticker on here. It's from 2011. This actually came out in 2011. So, and it's got the reproduction 2i Columbia label, and it sounds wonderful. And you know, this is pretty much a no-brainer when it comes to Bob Dylan. You know, you've got Blowin' in the Wind, Girl from the North Country, Masters of War, Hard Rain's Gonna Fall, Don't Think Twice, It's Alright, which is one of my favorite Dylan songs, I Shall Be Free. Just Bob singing in very strong voice, playing guitar, accompanying himself, and harmonica too. That's all you need when it comes to Bob, really. So, I've just been wanting to get more of his early catalog, you know, primarily 60s stuff, on vinyl. And originals of these are just too difficult to find and too expensive. So I'll go with a mint condition reissue any day of the week because it sounds great. So Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, that's another winner. Speaking of winners, another album that got a lot of playtime on my turntable was Mezzanine by Massive Attack. This is one of the albums that Brad sent me from H2 Vinyl. Fantastic album. I can't say enough good things about it. Here's the back. This album's shown up a lot on the VC. You know, like I said, when I ran my first contest, you know, my Crazy Eights contest, I saw a lot of people show this album because it came out in 1998. And this was one of the ones that I was going to get with my contest winnings from about a month ago, but I ended up getting a Portishead album instead. So this was actually the perfect album that Brad could have sent me. It was high on my want list. I probably would have bought this for myself soon anyway, so thank you once again, Brad. Fantastic trip-hop album. And as another funny aside, the kids liked this a lot too, and they found that, I guess, the song that was the theme song for House, for the show House, is on here. It's called Teardrop, because as soon as it started playing, I had it on, you know, pretty loud, and they're on spring break this week, so I'm with them all week. And they came running up and they're like, "That's the House song, that's the House song." And I'm like, "What?" And we're like, "From House, that's from House, that's the song." And of course, once I played it for my wife, she just went nuts for it. So she went nuts for this whole album, actually. So yeah, can't say enough good things about this album. So thank you once again, Brad. This was a massive hit, not just for me, but for the whole family here too. Mezzanine by Massive Attack. Fantastic stuff. I went on a little dig over the weekend too, while I was spending time with my beautiful wife. We went to the Outlet Mall in Michigan City, Indiana, and on the way there, she surprised me with a quick side trip to Crown Point, and we went to this little antique shop that also sold records. So as I was wandering around, I found that nothing was centralized. There would be, you know, a box of records in one corner, and then I'd walk around and look around, and then I'd see another box over here, and then another pile of them over here, and there was a basement too, and I found a bunch more down there. So I ended up buying 3 albums. The other 2 are in my crate. You'll see those in a future video. But this was one of them that I got. This is by Leo Kottke. It's called 6 and 12 String Guitar. This is his album from 1969. And it is all instrumental acoustic guitar. And if you know anything about Leo Kottke, you'll know his style is a very fast, very frenetic finger-picking style. And probably his most famous song on here that in his career was Vaseline Machine Gun. That's on here. That's how I knew this album. So when I saw this, you know, the cover is, you know, it's got tape. It's basically almost completely split along the top. You know, it's showing its age, but when I pulled the album out, and the album was in probably the original paper inner sleeve, thank God, but the album itself looked in pretty darn good shape. So after I brought it home and cleaned it, you know, it's a little noisy. It's got some pops and cracks here and there, but overall, it doesn't affect the enjoyment of the music for me. So I was very glad to get this, and it was for a good price. It was only a couple of bucks. So Leo Kottke's 6 and 12 String Guitar. This was a very, very good album to listen to. It was even though he plays pretty fast, it was almost kind of soothing and relaxing to hear. So I'm a fan. I'm going to have to try and find some more of his stuff. I see his albums around a lot, but I just don't know his material enough. And the only reason I bought this, again, was because of Vaseline Machine Gun. So this is a very fun album to listen to. So there you go. Now, speaking of great albums to listen to, this one here, Folk Singer by Muddy Waters. I saw this on Brad's video from H2 Vinyl from his contest winnings that he got from Andrew. Tales from the Crates contest. He won that contest. And he got a massive stack of records that had me drooling with jealousy. I'm happy for you, Brad. Just kidding. But when he showed this album, and he actually did Needle Drop or two on it, it just went right through me, and I'm like, oh my God, I have to get this record. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Muddy Waters. I think I've said that before. But this album is phenomenal. Phenomenal. And it's an Analog Productions release. QRP pressed record. Quality Records Pressing. They do fantastic work. It's remastered from the original analog tape. And it's just a fantastic album. So good, as a matter of fact, let me just show you the gatefold because you'll see that Buddy Guy is here. He played on this album. See him there. And this album sounds so good. And I don't have the highest end stereo setup either. You know, I've said that before too. But playing this album, you feel like you're sitting there in the room with them while they're recording and playing this music. And Muddy's voice is so deep and powerful, and he lets it rip on so many of these songs that it just gave me chills. And here's the, they put it on the replica chest label. Very heavy vinyl. And here's the back. It's just liner notes on the back. But I can't recommend this album highly enough either. I found this on eBay. It was a sealed copy for 35 bucks. Yes, it was a little expensive, but man, let me tell you, it was worth it. Because, like I said, if you just close your eyes while you're listening, you feel like you're in the room sitting next to Muddy while he's playing and singing these songs. It's unbelievable stuff. And it's real proof of how powerful the music listening experience can be. So, highly recommended album. And even if it is, you know, a little more expensive, but because it's a quality product. You know, it was a perfect record, not a dead quiet, you know, no background noise, no surface noise, nothing. So, if you come across this album, or if you search this one out, I think you will be pretty satisfied with your listening experience. Folk Singer by Muddy Waters. Fantastic stuff. And I need another drink because my mouth is dry. All right. Back to Dylan. This is another reissue. It's another mono reissue. It's Blonde on Blonde by Bob Dylan, of course. Here's the back. As you can see, it folds out. And just like Freewheelin', this was a mint reissue copy in mono, and it sounds fantastic. And this is a top loader album cover. I'll just show you the Also comes with the replica 2i Columbia label. Very heavy vinyl. Also, no background noise, no surface noise, no nothing but just quality sound. So, like I said, condition is king for me. And, of course, if I could find an original in this good a condition for a good price, I would obviously snap it up, but that just isn't going to happen. So, reissues like these are every bit as good as the originals. And there's no shame in going for reissues. So that's the route I took with this album. It's a double album, arguably Dylan's best album. I think you can make a very strong case for that. But it's easily the peak of his 60s output. And what can you say about Blonde on Blonde? It's just one of those albums I just wanted to have on vinyl. So played this, loved it. And it's Dylan, so I mean, you can't go wrong with this album, really. And another last Dylan album for now. This is Saved. I just played this one today. This is another album that I found at that estate sale from a month ago. And this was a mint condition copy. I didn't hate this album. I know this is during his Christian period, you know, when he kind of got a little preachy on a couple of these tracks, but overall, this is basically just like a gospel rock album. You know, it's produced by Jerry Wexler. You know, it was recorded at Muscle Shoals, so it's got that soulful sound to it. And Dylan's voice isn't bad. It isn't whiny and squealy like he got later on in the 80s. You know, he sounds good, he sings good, the band is very tight. I didn't hate this album. I thought it was okay. You know, is it as good as Blonde on Blonde or Freewheelin'? No. But it wasn't horrible. It wasn't a terrible album. And, I don't know, I thought it was okay. I could easily see myself playing this again. So, Saved by Bob Dylan. During the height of his Christian period from 1980. Listening to this makes me more interested in the Trouble No More set that came out a year or two ago from his archive series. I've had my eye on that for a while, and after listening to this, it makes me want to check it out, but it's just too damn expensive. I can't pull the trigger on it. It's just too expensive. So I'm hoping the price someday will come down where I can actually snag a copy. But this was fine. There's nothing wrong with this album. So if you see it and you think, ugh, because of some review, and you know, give it a shot. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. And last but not least, I listened to the soundtrack of the documentary of the Wrecking Crew. In memory of Hal Blaine, who died a couple of weeks ago. And this is a double album, and the track list reads like, you know, the top 40 chart from, you know, the 60s, basically. You know, you've got everything from La Bamba to Be My Baby, Mr. Tambourine Man, Good Vibrations, California Dreamin', Wichita Lineman, Eva Destruction, Another Saturday Night by Sam Cooke, Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves by Cher, Midnight Confessions by the Grassroots, Even Summer Breeze by Seals and Crofts ends the album. They're yacht rockers. Seals and Crofts, oh hell yeah, they're yacht rockers. So I've had this album for a while. And when I was looking through my shelves, I saw it there, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to play this again, because just to listen to it, and I focused a lot on Hal Blaine's drumming, because he's a fantastic drummer. So this is also well worth having, you know, just as a snapshot of, you know, the 60s top 40 list, if you like that kind of music. And of course I love it. So there you go. Okay, we just hit the 30-minute mark, so I'm going to cut it off here. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for liking and commenting. And I will be around the VC a bit more here in the near future. So until next time, take care everyone, and I will see you soon.